Welcome to this amateur mini segment called Cool Fingering, Bro. Longtime listeners will be aware that if there's anything I love, it's a good fingering. Don't be gross, Hercule. I'll get the squirt bottle. So I started reading through Bach's Third English Suite this week. I finished the second one last week. And when I was going through the Allemande, I came across an amazing fingering that I just had to share, and therefore I made up this mini segment. Longtime listeners will also be familiar with my love of Bach's Allemandes. It's my favorite dance form. And the trick with Allemandes is always to keep these long, sumptuous lines, les lignes somptueuses, well-shaped and connected throughout. And if you try to be not a cheater and don't use a lot of pedal when you're playing these on a modern piano, then the fingering is all important. So two spots in this, just the first half of this Allemande that I found to be particularly creative fingering solutions, even as when you think about it, they're probably the only solutions for these particular passages, unless you cheat. These two bars where you have three voices, the soprano, the alto or tenor, and the bass. And all of these lines have to be connected to each other. But in order to do that, in order to keep the bass and the soprano intact, you've got to pass this alto or tenor line between the two hands. And the trick here, which you come across every so often, is this thumb to fifth finger switcheroo, which happens in on these two notes, where you land on the note with the thumb and then you need to quickly pivot over to the fifth finger so that the rest of the fingers in the right hand can continue this alto line. And then the thumb from the left hand has to take over from the right hand so that the rest of the right hand can continue to sing the soprano line. So that happens twice over. And it's something that needs to be, practiced in order to make fluid. But it's a really clever solution to this problem. The other passage where the fingerer came up with a cool fingering that meant that you didn't have to cheat is this bar where, again, you've got the soprano and the bass that have to be kept held down. And then this lovely long line in the tenor that has to be passed back and forth between both hands. And there's lots of thumb action here. So it takes a little bit of work to keep it from being too thummy and to pass the note that ends on the right-hand thumb to the left-hand thumb and vice versa, nice and smooth. But it's another really elegant solution for what's a pretty sticky problem. But in the end, I guess you find lots of cool fingerings in Allemandes in particular because they have those long lines that tend to have a bit of range as well. And so you've got to work to make them nice and smooth so that it doesn't sound like you're handing off from one hand to the other.